We're going to take a look at how to create a shop section for our upgrade buttons. So the first thing we're going to do is add a backdrop, and the way we do that is we head over here to the stage. We're going to click this here and then head over to backdrops, and then we're going to see we have an empty backdrop and then the one that we originally chose for the game. What we're going to do is remove the empty backdrop, and the one that we originally chose for the game, we're going to change the name to game, and then we're going to add a background for the shop. I personally like Nebula. I think it looks cool, so I'm going to choose that, and then I'm going to name this as shop. So now I have game and shop, and it's very important that we name this appropriately so that when we're coding, it's easy to reference. So what we're going to do is head back to code, and under the object that we're using to click, we're going to add a code block that when we start the game or when we press the green flag, we're going to switch the backdrop to the game. So whatever's happening in the game, let's say we end up going to the shop, we press the green flag, it'll go back to the game. So we're going to do switch backdrop, which is under looks. We're going to go switch backdrop to game. Okay? Now, the next step is to add a shop button. So we're gonna go choose sprite. We're gonna search for button, and I'm gonna use this one for the shop button. Set it over here. Head over to costumes. Press on the T here on the toolbox, and let's type shop. We're gonna place it right at the center. Very good. Head back to code. Now here, what we're going to do is add an event that when the backdrop switches to game, we want to hide it. Sorry, we're going to show it. And if we go under looks, we're going to show it. And then we're going to go back to events and choose when the backdrop switches to shop, we are going to hide it. And the reason for this is that we don't want to show a button that we're not going to use. So we just, show it when we need it. Okay, and then the very last thing we're going to do is when this button is clicked, or when the sprite is clicked, we're going to switch the backdrop to shop. So we're going to test this out. What should happen is that when we click on the button, it's going to switch the backdrop to the Nebula one that we chose earlier, and then the button is going to hide. So let's see. And that's exactly what we want, right? Now the issue that we have here is that we're kind of stuck here unless we press the green flag. There's no way to go back to the game section or the game backdrop. So what we need to do is add another button, which is going to be our exit button. Now the exit button is going to be very similar to the shop button, and I'm just going to set it down here. Here we're going to head over to costumes, and we're going to name it exit. Okay, we named this exit. And very similar to what we did for the shop, these three sections of code we're going to need for the exit button, but they're going to be a bit different because we only want to show the exit button when we're in the shop, and we want to hide it when we're in the game. And when we click on it, we want to go back to the game. So let's code that now. So what we're going to do is when the backdrop switches to shop, we are going to show it. Head back over to events. When the backdrop switches to game, we want to hide it. Then, when the sprite is clicked, we want to switch the backdrop to game. Switch backdrop to game. All right, let's test this out and see what we have. So we have the shop button, we click it, we have the exit button. Good. So the shop button disappears after we click and switches the backdrop to the shop background. And once we're here, the exit button is shown. When we click on the exit button, it disappears and we head back to the game backdrop. Okay, the next step is to do something similar with our upgrade button. And the upgrade button obviously should only show under the shop, which we created. So let's head over to the upgrade button. Let's move this off to the side here. Maybe zoom out so we have more space to work with our code. And same idea, we're gonna, when the backdrop switches to game, when the backdrop switches to shop, and then we're gonna head over and we're gonna show and hide accordingly. So when the backdrop switches to game, we're gonna hide. When the backdrop switches to shop, we're going to show. There we have it. Press the green flag, it disappeared. We're gonna go to shop. We see it there, perfect. One last thing we need to do for showing and hiding objects is the object here that we're clicking on. We want to hide it when we're in the shop and show it when we're in the game. So let's add that. We're gonna go under events again. When the backdrop switches to game, when the backdrop switches to shop. And we're gonna go to looks. And then we're gonna show and hide. When we're in the game, we want to show it. When we go to the shop, we hide it. Let's press the green flag. Perfect. Very good. Exactly what we wanted. We're showing the object when we're in the game, and we're hiding it when we're in the shop. So we have our shop button, the upgrade button, our exit button, and then now all we have to do is continue adding more upgrade buttons as needed. And at the same time, we may want to move things around. So if we wanted to move it around, we could just click and drag. For the exit button, it's going to be very difficult to move it around unless we just detach this code block. And then if we go over to the shop, we're able to do it now. And then just make sure you attach it again, and then it should work. So for the shop button, let's move it to the top right. Let's move this over here. And there we go. Great job, you guys. This should be reflected in your game. And take your time with it. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. Thank you.